I'm Dr. Raval. I've been in practice as a podiatrist for over 35 years, and I am the author of the Physician Practice Blueprint. So today I want to talk to my fellow podiatrists and other physicians who are either coming out of their residency programs or working for somebody and want to work for themselves. I make a big case for this. This is the time to brand yourself. You're young and resilient. So let's talk about the people that I feel should be starting their own business, meaning the most important characteristics to starting your own business. You can develop them or you have them. So number one, passion and commitment. So what that means is you're passionate about what you do, which I'll assume that if you pick these medical fields, you are. But commitment means that you stick it out for the long run. So you're going to commit to starting your own business, give yourself a timeline, whether it be 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. I find between those points, you're making your bills and you want to become bigger. So passion and commitment. Number two, resilience. That means every time something happens and it may be a setback, you don't just give up. So you are running a marathon, not a sprint. And think about starting your practice in that way, meaning if you need to sleep on it, sleep on it. Don't get frustrated. Think about the marathon. Don't think about, hey, here's the roadblock, I'm done. All right, so resilience. You have to have an entrepreneurial spirit. You're not going to start your own thing without it. You have to make the time and commitment for it. If you're not that kind of person, don't start it. There's nothing wrong with working for somebody, but it's not going to build your brand. It's not going to put you out there as your own entity, and you won't be able to grow it the way you want to. So an entrepreneurial spirit, you want to grow your own thing. You want to build your own brand. Next, market knowledge. So let's talk a little bit about market knowledge. Now, besides Google searches, that we now have ChatGPT. So there are a lot of searches that you can put in areas that you want to be in and see where would be best. Should you be on a main street? Should you be inside a neighborhood? Should you be near a hospital? Should you in these particular towns, what kind of population is there? You don't even have to leave your room to find all this information out. Put it down, write it down, see what's important to you, and then pick out your office location or look for space within that location. Let it match your personality. You're not going to be in a big city if you're not a big city personality. Remember, this is for the long run, so you want to be comfortable in the space that you're in. So that's market knowledge. Effective communication. So you should be using your time working for somebody or in your residency or through your internships to kind of see how you want to market yourself. How effective are you with that patient, and how compliant is that patient when they come back? Did they hear you? It's a nice way to start to develop a skill set. Effective communication. Problem solving. So this is not just in medicine. This is not, hey, I see these symptoms come in. Here's my differential diagnosis. Here's what I think it is. These are the tests I'm going to do. The same goes for starting a practice. You have to know your business. You have all the medical knowledge. We have some of the best trained residents in the United States right now, but that doesn't mean you're going to be a good business person. So you have to have a problem-solving set when it comes to running the office. Why aren't you getting paid on time? Is there a different way to communicate to patients? Are there side hustles within the office? You can sell items to make patients more compliant rather than sending them out to local stores. Think about how to solve a problem. Sit down at the end of every week in those beginning days when you're slow and say, how can I make this run faster? Problem solving is a skill set. It's necessary for business in every way. Time management. So let's talk a little bit about that. So we're all have been doing clinics as physicians. We're working for people. We're moving people through hospitals, through surgicals, procedures. What is time management? So time management means in an office, you have to move patients through every 15 minutes. That means you see them, you diagnose them, you treat them, you order their prescriptions, you move them out front. Next. If you cannot do that in an effective way, you are not going to be running a profitable practice. That's how medicine is today. That's what it takes in your every 15 minutes, 8 minutes of which you're seeing the patient, diagnosing, writing your note, treating, moving to the front desk, and ordering their prescriptions. Practice it. Practice it when you're a resident. Practice it when you're working for somebody else. Practice it in your clinics. Hospitals, a little bit different, as you know. I mean, I personally thought that the most effective way to handle my surgeries was just to book out that whole morning or book out a full day. This way, if a case gets bumped, you still, it doesn't ruin your whole day. So you guys decide what's important to you when you're doing surgical procedures, but doing 2 surgical procedures and spending the whole day doing it is not effective. You should also be doing your note, take your laptops with you, do your surgical notes the minute that you finish your surgery. Think about efficiency and think about time management all the time in order to make your business profitable. Adaptability. So I love this one author, Carol Dweck, who wrote about the growth mindset. So you should be looking at being adaptable, meaning, hey, everything is not going to work out perfectly, but instead of looking at that as a roadblock, you have to look at it on how can I adapt around this. So I'll give you an example. 7 years into my practice, we went from we could bill whatever we wanted and meet a deductible to an HMO mindset. So now all of a sudden these HMOs were coming in, trying to sign physicians up. Many of my colleagues didn't sign up, which meant that these HMOs closed out and they couldn't join. It left a patient base. So when the times are changing, you got to look at what's happening. You got to see, is there any downside to adapting to it? And how can you adapt to it? I have found over 35 years, every 5 years, there's an adaptability mindset, meaning you either adapt or your practice isn't going to grow. And you need to look at business of any kind in that way. Be adaptable, changeable. How can I make it profitable? Evaluate it. Don't just put it in the back of your head and say, I'm not going to do it. You know, that's not going to get you ahead. And lastly, financial literacy. So I wrote this book mainly for the financial literacy. I find there are no business classes in medical school, and there should be. And so because they're not, we don't think of medicine as a business when we get out, and we don't think about the financial planning that it takes to be profitable and efficient in our practices, and even if we're working for somebody else. So physician practice blueprint, I would pick that up, buy it for the financial end of things. We'll be talking a lot more about that, but I hope this helps. So just a recap, most important characteristics if you're going to go into any business, little less medicine: passion and commitment, resilience, entrepreneurial mindset, market knowledge, problem solving, networking, time management, adaptability, and financial know-how. Hope that helps. Dr. Raval, be with you back soon.